All right. Good evening, everybody. And welcome to another season of the VSpeed Contender series, brought to you by NEPA Towing and Recovery. We have a new sponsor this year, Mean Dean Automotive and Greer Associates. Butt Kicker. And as always, we are powered by Nitro. So this season starts off as normal with the high banks of Daytona. The start to the season for pretty much every NASCAR fan. Being a Florida person, one of my favorite tracks to visit. Now, it's been a little chilly down here in Florida, so a little different from most of us, but it's starting to warm back up and get back to normal. Now, last season was a pretty interesting season. We basically had three standouts all season long. Hunter Kent, Stephen Massey, and Ryan Lang. Now, Ryan started out the season on a tear. Whipped off a couple wins real quick. But then Hunter Kent comes along, decided he's going to try to start matching those wins. Next thing you know, he got a couple up on him. And then in comes Stephen Massey into the mix, going, well, hey, if Hunter can do it, I can do it too. So it became a race between those three for the entire season. Those three trucks won all 16 races. But we did have some amazing racing. Had some new faces show up into the league last season with the guys from Screaming Eagle that put on a pretty amazing show. Those guys were in contention a lot. You had Dean Doucette, Darren Bruce, and Adam Newton that were really putting on a good show there towards the end of the season. Then they seemed to kind of just go into a lull there while Stephen Massey and Hunter Kent just dominated the remaining part of the races. So what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to try to get our season champion up here in the booth with us and see if we can get a few words and see what he thinks this new season's going to bring out here. Let me see if I can find him. Where is he at? Oh, there he is. Mr. Hunter Kent, Jim up in the booth. How you doing, buddy? All right. Mr. Hunter Kent, Jim up in the booth. How's it going, man? Figure I'd bring you up in the booth and let you talking about your pretty awesome season last year, man. You kind of came in with a purpose and made it happen.
This season, I'm going to kind of just
Well, I know the guys at Nitro are happy to have you over there. I've been racing around you for a long time, and so I know you're definitely an asset to the team over in those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how this this season plays out, and how some of these new fellas that we have showing up here, and see what they can bring back to the table. So those Screaming Eagle guys will see if they can shore up their season a little bit better than they did last season, and maybe give you guys a run for your money. Well, that's cool. I appreciate that, and hopefully we can put us on a good show here. I mean, last year Daytona wasn't a bad race, so we usually tend to put on a whole lot better race than the officials turn out to be. So we shall see what the night brings, and good luck, and I hope you find yourself in the winner's circle. All right, buddy. I'll move you back up to the lobby. I'll go. Be my in race reporter. All right, buddy. Well, good. There you go. All right, buddy. Well, good luck, man. Yep. All right, there you have it. Last season's champion, Mr. Hunter Kent. He just edged out Stephen Massey last season. So we'll look to see if Stephen could maybe avenge it a little bit and keep on his winning ways like he did, because he did win the last race of the season. So he definitely made Hunter work for it. Right now, looks like we got a couple of new faces we don't typically see up at the front as far as the speed's concerned. Randy McCaney at the top of the board currently, and James Mullen. Now, James is a new one to the group here, to the league here. So we will see how things run with him as we change over for qualifying. Now, typically, this is where we would go ahead and throw up our commercials. Don't quite have one done for Mean Dean, but we can throw up our title sponsor, Mr. Joe Zader and NEPA Towing. So we'll go up and throw his commercial from last year. We don't quite have production completed on his new commercial, but we'll at least give him a little bit of love. All right, there you have it, Mr. Joe Zader and NEPA Towing coming back once again as the title sponsor for the VSpeed Contender Series. All right, so they're all out on the track now, currently qualifying. Now we all kind of know that it doesn't necessarily matter where you start in this race. It just matters the luck that you have and where you're at the end. A couple of new names at the top there with Thomas Lester and Richard Holland. Bobby Terrell to the front. Now it looks like my old broadcast mate Cody Morgan's running tonight. Cody's not going to be able to broadcast with us this season. As you know, he had a baby last season, and the baby's in the same room or right next door to where he would be broadcasting from. So he wasn't going to be able to do that. So I am looking for a partner. So if anybody's interested in sitting in and helping me call the race, just shoot me a message. Currently, Mr. Bernard Persons. Now, Bernard was one of the people that I felt like was coming into his own last season, and currently he's at the top of the board. A D&Do setup on the top now. Matty Clark. Like Jared Carr. That's a name I haven't heard in forever. Jared's my guy, man. I haven't seen him in a long time. May have to pull him up in the booth here in a minute. All right. Still got Dean Doucette at the top of the board here. Like everybody. Got a couple cars on stragglers on the track here, but pretty much everybody's ran if they're going to qualify. There you have it. That Mr. Dean Doucette on the pole. This Dean is with that Screaming Eagles team that I talked about coming into the broadcast, and the guys that I felt like were probably going to make a huge impact this season. So it's definitely going to be a great thing for them. Of course, there's several of those guys, so they should be able to get linked up together and put on a pretty darn good show. So if you followed the broadcast in the last season, you know that this is the time. Right. This is the time of the night where the drivers get their drivers meeting in with Sam, our race control. So they'll get the rules for this season if they don't already know them. They should have all checked out the rules before they got into the race tonight. And of course, most of these guys have been running with us for a while now. But if you're the new guys, I'm sure there's going to be a few things that's a little different than what they're used to. But Sam will get them straight, get them all on the same page. And we'll go out for a little warm-up. And then we'll get ready to start the night off for the first race of Season 15 for the VSpeed Contender Series. Good shot down pit road here. Jason Holsworth and last season's champion Hunter Kent there. Not sure if anybody's watching qualifying on TV for the 500, but currently Kyle Busch is at the top of the board. Ryan Preece. Now, I got to go out to Vegas for championship race, and I got to play in a celebrity poker tournament at the South Point, and Ryan Preece is who I played with. Super, super nice guy, man. Now, I guess if I had to root for a Ford person, it would have to be Ryan. Pretty much everybody heading back out up onto the track now. Get a few laps of warm-up in before we get ready to start the night. Now we got past champion, Mr. Ron Thompson, back with us, with the current champion, Mr. Hunter Kent. Now, calling these races by yourself can be a little boring, so I'll try to be as entertaining as I can. Try to keep everything up to date as we're going along. I believe we're going to have a good race tonight. That last season, I only think we had one caution when we ran this race, so it should be a pretty decent run with the guys that we have coming into the race tonight. Now, of course, we always had a huge turnout for these races back in the Road to Pro days because a lot of people would run the race with us. So they could kind of practice up for the Road to Pro race on the next night. But now we have the qualifying series, which the first 4 races, I believe, are truck races. So I was hoping that may boost our truck count a little bit. It does look like we have a lot. All right. Trucks are started. At the pace truck, waiting for everybody to get all strapped in, and they're pulling off. So tonight, for the very first race of season 15 of the VSpeed Contender Series. We have Mr. Dean Doucette, number 5 truck on the pole, with Matty D. Clark on the outside. Second row, we have Jared Carr and Darren Bruce. Third row, we have Bernard Persons and Ron Thompson. Next row, we have Adam Newton and Keith Hackney. Next row, we have Brian Helm and Richard Holland. Next row, we have David Monahan and Troy Torgerson. Next row, we have Rachel Hunt and league owner Doc Stout. Next row, we'll have our 2 champions from last season, first and second place, Hunter Kent and Stephen Massey. We have Matt Smethers and Timmy Longwood, Bobby Terrell and Phil Gary, Jason Holsworth and James Mullins, Tom Lester and Jimmy Babb, Randy McCaney, Tim Marlowe, and Logan Kaj round out the field with Jim Johnson and Doug Chappelle. So that red and black Ford truck of Dean Doucette has everybody in tow here. Pace truck rounds turn 4 here and should peel off. The lights are off on the pace truck. And let's get ready to go racing, boys and ladies.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out. And Dean Doucette with Jared Carr. It's a really good run. Like Matty Clark, kind of a little late on the throttle there on the start. But the 14 truck of Darren Bruce was there to pick him up and keep him in contention for the second spot. Down the back stretch, Dean Doucette, followed by Jared Carr. 18 truck of Bernard Persons right there in tow. And it's going to be Dean Doucette that leads that first lap. As Hunter said in the pre-broadcast there, I know Dean was trying his best to get him some wins last season, and he was in contention there several times. So I know he's definitely wanting to set the record straight and show that he's able to win these races just like anybody. Top line just don't seem to quite have the speed as the bottom here. That bottom line is packed up pretty good. Top line's a little broken up. And of course you have Jared Carr beating a back bumper off of Dean Doucette. Still pretty much single or a double file for the entire first pack, and then we got a small little pack by themselves. It's just a little bit behind them. Everybody seems to be playing nice so far. We all know it kind of changes as we get a little later in the race. So after 5 laps, we have Mr. Dean Doucette, Jared Carr, Bernard Persons, Adam Newton, and Brian Helm rounding out the top 5. Bottom line seems to be the place to be right now. Got Doc being pushed by Hunter up on the top, almost in a 3rd lane. A little bit of view of the guys back here. Dean Doucette, Jared Carr, Bernard Person, Adam Newton, Brian Helm right behind him. Now we got a new face, Mr. Daniel Monahan, up there in the mix. Mr. Mr. Darren Bruce in the 14 truck. Got Matty Clark up there in the 3. Got Keith Hackney in the 66 on that outside, trying to pull that outside line up. We got Miss Rachel Hunt back with us this season. Of course, past champion, Mr. Ron Thompson. Got Richard Holland, the new face. Currently in the 13th spot here. 17 truck. Got Matt Smithers in the 33. We got Troy Torgeson's a new name as well, and the 99 truck. And of course, Mr. Doc Stout, league owner, and one of those guys that makes us old guys look really good. Of course, he's sporting those sun drop colors. We got Stephen Massey up here in the mix, 77 truck. We got the 29 of Timmy Longwood back. The 68 of Mr. Phil Gary back. The 7 truck, Mr. Bobby Terrell back. And of course, Randy McCaney. He was our top speed in practice. Newcomer Tom Lester in the 78. And then back a little bit, we got Jimmy Babb leading this little group back here. We got Jimmy Babb, Logan Kais, Jason Holsworth, Joe Zader, Cody Morgan, Travis Orwick, Barry Snelson, Doug Chappelle, Russ. We got Tim Marlowe and Jim Johnson all back here running, all by their lonesome. I'm back up front. It's down Mr. Dean Doucette and Jared Carr setting the pace. Now Ryan Lang looks like he may be coming out back out onto the track. Not sure what happened to Ryan. And of course, Ryan was one of our front runners last season. So I'm not sure if maybe he had to pit or if he had some issues or whatever the case may be. But he's going to be able to pick up that second pack and be that first car a lap down. Just as we say that, it looks like Keith Hackney was able to go ahead and get almost to the lead with the help of Hunter Kent and Stephen Massey. So it looks like them Nitro boys are all working together to get everybody up to the front. And we got Mr. Doc. Mr. Doc's coming right there along with them, running up front in these speedway races. Doc's a road racer, man, but man, he's definitely putting it on them tonight. Now it looks like they were able to break those boys up. Keith Hackney's on the top side, and now we got Hunter Kent, the champion, on the low side, with Doc right there with him. We got Stephen Massey gonna come down and pick up that low line. Now it looks like gonna put Troy Torgerson and James Mullins, both two newer names. Gonna put them up on the top side there toward the front. But it looks like once again that low line's a little more organized and able to keep their speed than that top line. So after 15 laps, we have a new leader, Mr. Keith Hackney, new clubber to the league, new driver over at Nitro. Stephen Massey, Hunter Kent, Doc Stout, and James Mullins. Looks like Doc got him a Doc's got him a darn pretty stout team in that Cascade Hollow Motorsports this season. He's got the first and second place of the championship last season and the third place champion along with himself. So he definitely stacked the deck. I don't blame him. If I had a chance, I'd do the same thing. Still out front, Mr. Keith Hackney, Stephen Massey, Hunter Kent, and Doc Stout. James Mullen bringing up fifth. And if anybody's keeping tabs, Kyle Busch still at the top of the board, Daytona 500. So currently the fastest lap of the race is held by Joe Zader with a 48.38. Looks like Keith, Steven, and Hunter got a little system going on there. But they're just kind of bumping into each other and sending each other down the way. And it seems to be working. Looks like Dean Doucette's trying to get that top line going now with the help of Jared Carr and Bernard Persons. Trying to make a run back up to those Nitro boys to see if they can give them a run. Top line seems to be getting a little formed up there. Bottom line's got more vehicles in it, but top line's getting there. And once again, Jared Carr is just beating the back bumper off of Dean Doucette with the help of Dean's teammate Bernard Persons, and of course the 33 of Matt Smithers, and then of course teammate Adam Newton and Aaron Bruce. Those Screaming Eagle guys are trying to get a monopoly on that top side to see if they can give these Nitro boys that are on the bottom a run for their money. And it is official. Kyle Busch is on the outside pole. I mean, on the pole for the Daytona 500. Now, it looks like this guy's up front starting to pull away a little bit, which you don't necessarily see in a super speedway race. But whatever they got going on, it's working. They still seem to be keeping that little bit of lead they got going on there, but it does look like Doc's trying to get attached right back on that draft that they have. Top line seems to be falling apart up there. Doesn't seem to be quite panning out for them. It looks like Ron Thompson's going to try to dip up to the top line there and see if he can do something with that top line. Still kind of 2x2 for the most part in this first group. I still haven't really understood what's going on in this second group. Now back here, you have Travis Orwick, Cody Morgan, Doug Chappelle, got Randy McCaney, Logan Kais. Got Russ, Jason, Joe Zader, Barry Snelson, Jimmy Babb, Jim Johnson, and Tim Marlowe in the back here. Tim Marlowe and Jim Johnson are back further than that, and Ryan has just lost the draft totally, so I'm not sure what happened with Ryan. Let's check his truck out. I don't see any damage. See if we can find out if there's any kind of... I don't see any damage in the back here. I don't see any damage to his truck anyway. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but he definitely fell off the pace. Yeah, the leaders that are coming up on him here pretty quick. Still, Keith Hackney out front. Stephen Massey, Hunter Kent, Mr. Doc Stout, and James Mullins in the top 5. 27 laps in. at Jim Johnson and Tim Marlowe. I mean, yeah, Jim Johnson and Tim Marlowe running back here together. I don't know if they're just trying to stay out of the chaos and just lost the draft or what. And just like that, iRacing crashes. I shall be right back.